I mean, right before the pandemic, I was probably in the best place I've ever been in my life. It's crazy. Super fit, super healthy. Never had problems with my voice during the sets. Playing different sets every single night, just calling it out. Um, yeah, and then crash, bang, boom, the pandemic punched everyone in the face.
As the world came apart around him, Bert McCracken readily admits that he fell into a dark headspace, one that he may not have been able to pull himself out of without the help of his bandmates. Channeling that rage and despair into the music, the ninth studio album from The Used, Toxic Positivity, is a perfect encapsulation of what it means to have been alive through the chaos of 2020. But rather than simply being a pandemic album, it is an open letter to their audience, encouraging those who are struggling to find the light to lead them out of the fog. Bert joins us alongside bassist Jeff Howard to unpack their creative reconnection and their most cathartic and unexpectedly hopeful record to date. I'm James Wilson Taylor, and this is the album story of Toxic Positivity by The Used. Dancing with a Brick Wall's a funny one because that is it's your most danceable number there's ever been. Like, it really does. It does what it says on the tin, man. Like, I don't think I've heard you guys do a proper dance song like that in that way. Tell me a bit about where that idea came from.
Everybody loves the beat, right?
Yeah.
And I think that at the time we were contemplating death a lot in this weird way, thinking about, what the fuck happens to humans after they die. Do they go into the oblivion? I think they might. So death is an inescapable, unbelievable, and radical. Humans can't even wrap their minds around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Emily Dickinson said, I did not stop for death, he stopped for me. Or close to that.
What's that other quote too about death as a slow moving arrow?
Oh yeah.
Right? That's headed towards you. I'm gonna ruin it, so I'm not even gonna bother trying to go near it. I'm just hoping for a UK dance remix of this song. Like, I want to hear this at some club at some point. It'll
We do.
happen,
We want
hopefully.
remixes. Totally.
Put a donk on it,
dude,
as we
that's
used to
fun.
say. Put a donk on it. Just have that version going through. That's what we want.
100%.
There we go.
In
Yeah.
every club night, that's what we want to hear. And there's also kind of the softer side, when moments like Cherry and moments like Dopamine. It's interesting that not only has it got those kind of softer moments to the record, but the instrumentation on that is very, very cool. I like that you're playing with lots of different types of sounds on that, particularly on Dopamine, I guess. And then you get into that kind of rhythm in places there as well. It's just nice. It's bringing variety, and it feels like you guys have that real willingness to experiment with that these days, right?
Yeah, we like to drive it, It's a process in the studio that's just so smooth. It feels almost too easy.
Yeah. Exactly. It's so open and so easy, and everyone's just throwing ideas out in every possible way. And no idea is a bad idea. Nothing is terrible to say. Like sitting
Yep.
down and jamming through a part and being like, oh, hey, I got an idea. Why don't we try this? Like, maybe that's not your instrument. It doesn't fucking matter. That's how the best ideas, for me, that's how the best ideas come out. If I'm playing bass and Bert's like humming something or saying, hey, try these notes, because it's something I would never think of because I'm thinking of it, my own biased bass player wise, and Bert's thinking of it as a singer, something totally different. That's how the fun stuff comes out, I think.
And I grew up in obsessed with theater. So a lot of that kind of picky plucky moving parts are such a part of my childhood, I feel like.
We've already mentioned your man Feldmann a couple of times there, and what's nice is you guys do have. I mean, it must just be like a shorthand in the studio at this point. This relationship is very, very well established. It's very, very comfortable. Tell me a little bit about what it was like working with him on this one specifically, I guess.
He's very kind and very understanding. I think during the record, I'd been taking Valium for about a year. I think during the record process, I was detoxing from value. So a lot of the love elements of the record are my sadness. So Feldmann is just such a shoulder to lean on. And yeah, he's like a brother to us. It's like he is part of the band. It's really cool.
For sure. Definitely a brother. Definitely some of the closest. I mean, we've all been through it with Feldman, like positive and negative and fights and, hugs and all of it. And I have so much
Yeah.
respect for him, you know. And it's great. Like you said, it is shorthand. Like there's unsaid things we just know because we know each other so well now after all these years. And we know how each other works really well. And like he lets us do what we want to do the way we want to do it because he understands each one of us individually because of that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's got to be really nice to have a producer who's not just a very talented producer and obviously, as we say, knows you guys very very well at this point and seen you at your highs and your
Yeah,
lows, but also he's a performer himself. He's been in a band. He knows exactly how this kind of whole thing works. He's been on every side of the desk. I mean, that does
totally.
bring something that's a little bit different there. It brings a level of experience and knowledge, but also a level of understanding that I guess you might not get with a lot of other producers.
No,
Yeah.
totally. He's also one of the biggest used fans.
100%. Like he loves the used and always has, always will. He's like like I don't know what he's like, but he's like the fans that are obsessed. He would fight for us. He would fight someone.
He's done it. I've seen it.
Oh yeah, remember when he jumped in the crowd on that kid that
Yeah.
was flipping us off?
Yeah, he's done it, dude. It's real. Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah, he's willing to sacrifice it all, as we are as well.
Did want to mention them because I saw, when you guys put it out, but you'd said you kind of compare it to Feel Something from Hard Work, in some
Yeah.
ways. I guess thematically, was that something that struck you when you were actually writing it, or is it like kind of retrospectively you've gone, oh, actually these could be kind of sister songs there?
Yeah, it was in the moment. Everybody kind of knew what I was going through, and in a big way. They were all very, very, very supportive, like family. And yeah, it's hard to feel something when you're only feeling that thing that sucks you in and drags you around, the wing of the thing that consumes you.
Good way of phrasing it for sure. Yeah, it's a
I think
great
that's
track
David
though.
Foster Wallace.
There you
Oh
well,
yeah,
just
in the shadow
good
of
to
the wing of the thing that consumes you. I think it's Infinite Jest.
Oh, there we go. No, it's nicely put though, and it definitely applies here. I mean, that's a like a real. It's one that I think out of the singles you put out really stands out for me. Definitely listening to it, it's very visceral. It's very. I mean, it's very very emotional, obviously, but like it's what's the phrase I'm looking for? It's very pointed in its emotions. Like it definitely cuts through in a big way. And I feel like you can see as well, just even in the fan reaction. I mean, the time of recording this only been out like a few days, right? But like immediately you can see the fan reaction to that is, I would argue, even more together than it has been for the previous singles. They've all gone down well, but this one seems to have hit an extra nerve with people, I think.
I think
Yeah,
it's
it's
really relatable, right?
yeah, it's crazy to see the crowd when we play it, and it it's very repetitive. So I think it's easy for somebody who hasn't heard it to kind of get in it and understand it. And I think everyone has those moments, no matter where you're at in your life. I think that humans share that in common.
Yeah, definitely another mass relatable one there for sure. I want to mention as well in terms of lyrics, worst have ever been, hell of an opening as well on a record, but there's a line in there. I want to get this right. Don't ask me for no fucking favors. I'm not anybody's goddamn savior. Hell of a point to make from someone who's the front man of a band, where I think it's no secret they do get put up on pedestals a lot of the time. Rightly and wrongly. It's an interesting balance to have. You can get lost in that sometimes. I'd love to hear what were you thinking about with that particular lyric. What kind of point were you trying to make there, Bert?
I think that when you're so low and so down, in my case at least, I couldn't even pick up my phone to text even my closest friends. stuck, just detached from reality, and you kind of start to. It's weird. You kind of start to resent people who seem okay. Yeah, in a big way.
Toxic positivity, is that what it was about? Is it about sort of resenting that endless positivity we see that kind of pervades through a lot of culture now? You know, it's there's, you know, it's not anything new to say, but that sort of social media facade type thing, you know, that kind of
I was
covers
just
up the
going to mention the
cracks.
same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go.
everyone putting their best face forward, and for me, being in a place like that, just looking around, feeling like I hate everybody, you know. And I've had that feeling in my life before. When I first quit drinking, I had that feeling. I think everybody, in a way, shares that emotion, even if it's just for a second, you know.
Totally.
Yeah. Was it always the kind of obvious title to hang the whole record around? Was that the kind of, did you have a couple ideas in there, or was that always just the one you kind of gravitated towards?
Yeah, I can't remember who said it, but that was Taylor. Oh yeah.
Was
And
it?
we were like, oh, that's the record title immediately.
It's nice the way it's reflected in the album art as well, which I want to mention. You know, we got to shout out the artist there and everything as well, because it's a wonderful, wonderful little representation of that. You know, again, we're talking about contrasts here. I think people, when they see it, it immediately aligns itself with the title and also the themes of the record. Tell me a little bit about putting together the actual final artwork we're now seeing on this record.
Not sure who had the idea to have a skeleton throwing up rose petals. It
I
was
I
Joey.
think it was you. Was it Joey? I thought it was you.
We'll share credit. We'll share credit.
Yeah,
He's sitting here and he wants the money for the credit.
yeah, I think it was you, but I could be wrong.
We just thought that it was perfect because being stuck in a place and feeling skeletal, and it almost feels like when you're down and out, that your body has no positivity in it. It's a bad feeling.
And Cam, dude, Cam is a fucking phenomenal artist, man. Watching that dude paint, you're like, how is this possible? How do people paint like that? It blows my mind, man. And he did a full setup before the painted version. He did a like an actual skull with flowers. Remember that? And he's like, this is
Hmm.
kind of what it's going to look like.
He took a picture
Yeah.
of, like, he set up a physical storyboard, if you will. Sent us a picture of it. This is what it's going to look like, and we're like, fuck yeah. And then he painted it so realistically, it blows our mind. He's so talented. Cam Rackham.
Out of control.
It's interesting you mentioned those B-sides as well. Like, is that something you're already kind of thinking? Do you think those will see the light of day, or are you just kind of happy to sit on them for now?
Yeah, we're gonna put everything out. Everything that we do, whether it's the best or the worst, we're gonna just put it out. And it's kind of hard to put out a deluxe album because that's just what everybody ends up listening to. Maybe we'll try to throw it out as a separate thing, but yeah, there's lots and lots of songs, and it was tough to pick the songs that made the record.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
It's
is was it
hard. Yeah.
was it like a similar vibe through those extra tracks, and or did it just feel like? I mean, this record feels pretty cohesive to me. You know, it goes off in interesting different directions, but it does flow together really nicely. Was it just like, oh, maybe not for now, or does it kind of hit a different area for you? Those new tracks.
Yeah, it's all very similar. We record songs so quickly that we don't get to look back and make changes, or we're not really bothered by that nagging, persistent kind of need to make the song better or change something, or yeah. So it's really cool, and these songs are in the same vein. I'm not sure if there's any positive messages in the B-sides. There's a lot of, like, deadly murder and depression
Yeah.
personified.
Yeah, there's a lot of depression on this whole record in general, but there's some uplifting parts. The record ends kind of on a high note.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like coming out of the pandemic, finding your place. Maybe you went to a rock show and that made you feel like you're not going to give up on yourself.
I mean, this is clearly there's a lot of catharsis happening here. It's a lot of exercising of demons, as understandably. Does it feel like? I mean, you definitely seem like you're in a more positive place, but particularly, like, does it feel like that's going to be pushing onto whatever does come next? Do you feel like exploring that more positive side, or is it? I don't know. Does it? I guess it does. Also, it's always going to continue to be cathartic to have this as an outlet, right, for anything that's kind of negative going on.
Yeah. I mean, the first line kind of sums it up. Yesterday, I woke up wanting to die. And that's
Oh, that's
yesterday.
funny. That was in my brain this whole time. I was just waiting to say that. That's so fucking awesome. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to
Yeah.
interrupt. I got so amped. I was like, whoa, whoa, psychic.
That's
I
dope.
mean, that
Yeah,
sums
but
up that whole fucking thing, though. It does. It's like it's like a.
yeah,
I'm sorry, I just cut you off, but I just got so amped. It's like coming out of something, but you're saying it in a negative way. You know, like yesterday I woke up like wanting to die. Like think about that. You know, but it's the yesterday word changes that whole meaning. You know, I woke up wanting to die, but yesterday I woke up wanting to die. It's past. It already happened. It's not. It makes the emphasis is it doesn't. It's not anymore. You know, it's
yeah,
like a fucking super positive like coming out of something so negative. You know, it's really awesome. Sorry, I got
yeah.
too amped on that.
Yeah. Yesterday kind of represents the record as well. We knew right
That's
when
what I
we
was
recorded
thinking.
this
Yeah.
song. Yeah. We knew it was going to be the closer. It's just, it's a little bit of something to grab onto, just like not giving up on me. Um,
Mm.
just digging yourself out and having that one moment, if it's just one moment, of clarity. Um, and hopefully that kind of message is, um, touches people and helps people and inspires people.